Thank you, Steve. So Eric, would you turn on the annotation tool, please? Thank you. So using the annotation tool and clicking the T for text, would you please type on the whiteboard that's on the screen and give me any takeaways that you have from session 1? You may also use the chat box. And then also if you could let me know if you have any unresolved questions at this moment. Okay, 7 p.m. on the second business day of the month is important, right, to report all of your loan and pool data. When in doubt at 7 p.m. on the second business day, that's great. The deadlines, reading your pre-K is very important. That's posted in e-notification, right? So we went over e-notification on Monday. So that's make sure e-notes get to the right people. Yes, because not all e-notes are for the investor reporting folks. So sometimes you have to send those to different people internally. That's a great one. All deadlines, especially the second business day for RFS reporting. Yep, follow the monthly reporting workflow. That's a good one. When in doubt, call VDEV, right? So that would be the hotline number with option 2. That's a good one. Okay, let's see here. And the PA functional acknowledgement tells us whenever if you uploaded the file that was uploaded is accepted or rejected. That's a great one. Okay, we'll give this a few more seconds. Okay, and Eric, if you could export this slide before we move on, please. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, Eric. So in session 1, I covered the issuer's primary responsibilities and subservicing partnerships. Nancy covered the resources and reference documentation available to issuers on the Ginnie Mae website and touched on some Ginnie Mae terms. I covered the monthly reporting timeline, including the major deadlines for missing pool and loan data, and when critical alerts must be cleared. Debbie explained in detail the e-notification process. Today, we will be focusing on these 3 bolded modules. We will dive right into RFS monthly reporting of pool and loan data. In this module, we will explain the 4 types of RFS records, how to edit the records appropriately, define which calculations RFS performs, and distinguish which fields issuers are responsible for reporting and editing. It is very important that 100% of the pool and loan data be reported by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day in RFS. Also, the critical exceptions must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. The best way to know how 100% of the pool and loan data is reported on the second business day is to view the summary screen and ensure that the reported loans and pools balance to the expected loans and pools. Also, you should view the exception tab and ensure that there are no outstanding RFS 111 missing pool exceptions and no outstanding RFS 204 missing loan exceptions. The 4 RFS records are pool, loan, sensitive, and various, which we will cover in detail over the next section of slides. Ginnie Mae MBS Guide Appendix 6-19, which Nancy discussed on Monday, gives a full description of each record. Appendix 619 can be found on the ginniemay.gov website and also on the link provided at the bottom of the slide. The pool record contains data elements related to the Ginnie Mae pool and is required each month. One record reports one pool. Therefore, if you have 10 active pools, then your RFS file should have 10 active pool records. The information in the P record represents the monthly cumulative pool status as of your Ginnie Mae cutoff date. The P record includes unscheduled principal. Unscheduled principal is liquidations, which are payoffs, buyouts, and loss met, to name a few. Curtailments, adjustments, and claim funds are also considered to be unscheduled principal. These funds roll to the pool record from the loan record and reduces the security RPB. Page 7 of Appendix 6-19 displays the P record layout. Also, at the very bottom of the screen, a sample of the P record is displayed. It is a string of text with specific start and end points for each field reported on the P record. Please note that some of the fields are signed fields showing a plus or a minus sign. Important RFS calculations. On the pool record, the 7 below fields are calculated for purposes of editing for loan and pool accounting and for 11.710A pool summary data. The security RPB is reported by the issuer. Field 7 calculated by RFS and not reported by the issuer are opening security RPB, scheduled principal, interest due security holder, cash due security holder, the calculated closing security balance, guarantee fee, and liquidations in full FIC. Issuers report adjustment to FIC and closing FIC. RFS calculates and compares the adjustment and closing FIC behind the scenes. Please raise your hand if you are familiar with the 11.710A. Wonderful. I see lots of hands. That is excellent. Eric, if you would please clear the hands. The pool record has a total of 25 fields. This slide shows fields 1 through 9. The pool record always begins with the letter P. The 2 fields that generate the most exceptions are bolded. The pool FIC must agree to the cumulative active loan FIC for the reporting period. This shows fields 10 through 17. The final security RPB is the value that RFS releases to the CPTA after 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. Please note that fields 14 and 15 only apply to multifamily pools. And this shows fields 18 through 25, which is the end of the P record. Please note that fields 20 through 23 only apply to multifamily pools. Now we'll move on to the loan record. The loan record contains data elements related to active loans within a Ginnie Mae pool and is required each month. One record reports one loan. The information in the L record represents the monthly cumulative loan status as of your Ginnie Mae cutoff date. The L record includes reporting liquidations on a loan within the report period. A ULID, which is the unique loan ID, is assigned by Ginnie Mae and needs to be input into your servicing system for reporting to RFS. The ULID are posted in e-notification as a text file, which we discussed on Monday during the e-notification section. Page 12 of Appendix 6-19 displays the L record layout. Also, at the very bottom of the screen, a sample of the L record is displayed. It is a string of text with specific start and end points for each field reported on the L record. The loan record has a total of 29 fields. Here we have the first 8 fields. The loan record always begins with the letter L. The 3 fields that generate the most exceptions are bolded. Case number, first payment date, and loan maturity date should all match the reported values on the 11706. The case number layout for each agency can be found in APM 02-17. The first payment date and maturity date have different reporting requirements for modified loans. This shows fields 9 through 15. Loan OPB must agree to the original note even if the loan has been modified. Last installment paid date should be reported when a full P&I payment has been received. And this shows fields 16 through 21. All collections of interest and principal should be reported in fields 18 and 19 when collected within the reporting cycle. If you collect more than one payment during the reporting cycle, the total must be reported in fields 18 and 19. And this shows fields 22 through 29, which is the end of the L record. Construction draws must be reported in the net adjust UPB field, and the loan UPB must be reported even if the loan is being liquidated. The liquidation information is in fields 24 through 28. Notice that field 29 is not required for multifamily loans. I will now turn it over to Steve.
Thanks, Christy. Christy just covered the pool record and the loan record, which are both required records for your monthly reporting. The next set of records are the sensitive loan record and the various loan record, both of which are only as needed for reporting. They're not required for every loan for every month. So the sensitive record, let me cover that, contains static information, which was reported originally at loan and pool origination. Issuers should only use this sensitive record if they need to make a change to that originally reported information, and that's only if it's incorrect or incomplete. There isn't a lot of fields that apply to multifamily in the sensitive loan records, so I'll go through the ones that do apply. And one thing that you can note on page 20 of Appendix VI 19 is the layout for the sensitive loan record. All right, let's look at some of the fields within the S record. Okay, this slide shows fields 1 through 10. The name of the organization should be reported in field 9, borrower last name. This is borrower 1, and this is a multifamily. This is where the multifamily loan would be reported for the organization name. If you notice on the next slide, There are slots for borrowers 2, 3, 4, and 5. None of these apply in the multifamily reporting, so these just get bypassed. All right. Next, the other record that we want to cover that is an optional record is the various loan record. This also contains static data. This again should only be reported if there is a change to the initially submitted data on the form HUD 11706 scheduled pooled mortgages. This is similar to the sensitive record, but there are a few differences. With the various loan record, there are 25 fields, and only 4 of these apply to multifamily. So there shouldn't be reporting for the other set. The ones there at the bottom, field 5, LTV, field 7, debt service ratio, field 10, the MERS min, and field 11, the MERS mom. Okay, now VI-19 page 23 is where you'll find your layout for the various loan record, and at the top of that section there is a very good information on what a controlled field is in the various loan record. So controlled fields just in general are fields that Ginnie Mae wants to track any changes that are being reported. Okay. What I'd like to do now is ask that if you have worked with the various loan, various suspense, which is working with a controlled field, reporting a change to a various field, raise your hand, and we could see who has performed a various suspense. As a reminder, this is reporting a change to one of those 4 fields on the various loan record. I see a few hands. There's not many. You probably are getting it all right on the 11706, so you don't need to make any change to any reporting on the various loan record. Okay, Eric, if you could clear the hands. All right. To know what a field is with a controlled field on the various loan record, we indicate that with an asterisk after the field. If you notice there on field 5, the loan to value, there's an asterisk after that name in the field name, and that indicates that it is a controlled field. So any change to loan to value will be suspended, and we'll talk about the suspense process in a bit. You can notice also the debt service ratio is not a controlled field, but it does apply to multifamily pools. All right. Moving to the next set of fields in the various loan record. Here you see the min and the MERS original mortgagee or the mom. The min is the code that identifies this loan in MERS, and the mom is a yes or no flag indicating whether it is in MERS. Both of those fields are the only field on the screen that are multifamily related. Okay, the next set of fields in the various loan record 15 through 20 are not applicable to multifamily. So please do not report on these. And the same with fields 21 through 25. None of those are related to multifamily. Okay, I alluded to the various suspense process earlier. Let's talk a little bit about how this works. So when a loan is reported at pooling and there is a incorrect or incomplete data, we do allow reporting on the various loan record to make that correction. You would submit a V record and you would make the change to one of those 4 fields. What happens when that occurs? Let's say you make a change to an LTV from one value at pooling to a corrected value on the V record. What occurs then is that loan is suspended, and it goes into a suspense process where you're allowed to review that loan. You see the old value and the new value, and you give an indication to Ginnie Mae as to whether the new value is to be accepted or to be rejected. How you know if you have suspended records is that number 4 there. You receive an e-notification on the 7th business day indicating that you have suspended various records. And so that's one of the ways that you will know, and please check your e-notification for that on the 7th business day. What the issuer will do at that point is they will download a listing of all the loans that have a suspense. You'll review those. You'll say whether or not those are accepted or rejected, and then you'll email that to ginniemayvarious@deloitte.com. Okay. Any questions on the various loan record and the suspense process, or any of the questions there? You can type it in the group chat. I'll give a minute or 2 if you have any questions there. All right. Oh, we have one question coming. All right, and then after that question, we're going to review each of the 4 records that Christy covered and I covered. All right. The question is, does the records for suspense have to be in a certain format? Yes. I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going to go back a few slides to the various loan record. If you notice there on Appendix VI 19, page 23, that will give you the layout for submitting that V record. Okay. There are also some samples at the end of VI 19 for each of the records P, L, S, and V, and so you could see that toward the end of the VI 19. Thanks for that question, Pam. All right. Eric, if you could turn on the annotation tool. Now we're going to put a mark on any of the records that it applies to this comment, contains static information. Go ahead and mark your.
And Steve, while folks are putting their stickers on this slide, we do have another question that says, are these required data?
Thank you for that, Christy. Yes, I see that, and the only required fields are the pool, or the required records are a pool record and a loan record, and if there are changes to a sensitive or various record. Okay, so and the data covered in the sensitive and various that I just covered are the only required for multifamily. The other ones for single family, please do not report on those fields. So good question. All right, we have good voting on our first question here. Static information is on the sensitive and the various. So both of those, very good. All right. The second one, which of these records, or which of these records contains unscheduled principal? Make your vote now. Unscheduled principal. All right, we're getting good votes here. There is only one record that contains unscheduled principal. It is the pool record. And Christy mentioned that in the presentation earlier. The pool record contains the unscheduled principal. And it looks like maybe because of the number of votes in the loan record, that might be a follow-up that we can do in a Q&A session.
Well, actually, Steve, I mean, you know, you do report like the curtailments on the loan record, which flow through to the pool record.
True.
You know, so.
All right, and we'll go on to the third question. That's a good point, Christy. Thank you. Only report if there's a change to data that was initially submitted on the form 11706. All right, good voting. Give it another second. All right, great job. This is the various loan record is the answer here. The sensitive loan record has got that one is also on the 11706. Is that correct, Chrissy?
Yes.
Okay. So good job there. Last question. All right. This would be represents the end of the reporting period status of the loan. All right, everybody can vote. Very good. I see a variety of colors and shapes. Somebody's very creative. All right. Good voting here. Let's have everybody participate if we can. This is good. The answer here is, because it's the status of the loan, the answer is the loan record. All right. Thanks for voting, everyone. I will turn this over to Christy now.
Thank you so much, Steve. So in this module, we will define the common exception messages and the summarization alerts, explain how to navigate the exception feedback summary screen, and list steps on how to download your exception file as a CSV file. RFS is the reporting and feedback system. Both pool and loan level information may be entered online in RFS, or a file may be uploaded. Any information input into RFS is subject to editing. This upload exception feedback is provided for any files that are accepted and can be viewed on the functional acknowledgement screen in RFS and also within eNotification. This is the initial edit process. Data uploaded or entered manually online will be processed by RFS and will be summarized only if 90% of the data has been reported and are accepted. The summarize process performs the accounting calculations for the pools and loans within the issuer's portfolio. Summarization occurs automatically when the issuer has reported 90% of the pool and loan data. Also, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers meeting the 90% criteria to include any data manually entered online in RFS. If 90% of the data was not accepted and the summarization process was not completed, the summary screen will not display correct values. The issuer should review their exception feedback. First, navigate in MGM to exception feedback, which is the PAEF. Then on to the summary screen. This provides a snapshot of the monthly reporting activity and the total number of outstanding exceptions. Then you would click on the Exceptions tab at the top of the screen to display a snapshot of outstanding exceptions. By clicking the Download tab and clicking Download Exceptions, this will download a full list of your outstanding exceptions as a CSV file. A best practice would be to save this download of exceptions daily. Summarization performs important calculations in RFS, which include the number of pools expected and the number of pools reported by the issuer, the number of loans expected and the number of loans reported by the issuer. Loan level delinquency is based on the current reporting period from Field 3 of the file header record and the last installment pay date from Field 12 of the loan record. The pool FIC is compared to the loan level reported FIC and the principal and interest collected, which is summarized from the loan level. Summarization generates exceptions when inconsistencies exist between pool and loan level reporting and occurs when 90% of the data is reported. As a reminder, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers that have reported at least 90% of their pool and loan data. This shows a snippet of Appendix 6-19 with possible exception messages for each field. Eric, please turn on the annotation tool. Using the annotation tool, place a sticker on the RFS 111 exception. All E-level RFS 111 exceptions explains that there is no activity reported for the current reporting period, which means the pool is missing. This exception would display on the pool screen in RFS and would appear on the exception download CSV file. To fix the RFS 111 exception, the pool would have to be manually entered in RFS on the pool screen, or a file would need to be uploaded that included the missing pools. Also, summarization alerts are italicized in Appendix 6-19 and only appear in RFS once 90% of the issuer's data is reported in RFS. Wonderful. Look at all those great stickers. Thank you so much for your participation. In page 1 and 5 of Appendix 619 explains the severity level of exceptions. If you receive an error or an E-level exception, then your record did not load in RFS. E-level exceptions can occur on any of the 4 types of records, which are the pool, loan, sensitive, and various. The RFS 111 exception, or missing pool exception, must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. Other outstanding E-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. Critical or C-level exceptions are related to remittance and/or disclosure data. These only occur on to pool and loan level reporting. The RFS 204 missing loan exception must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. Other outstanding C-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. High or H-level exceptions are related to pool and/or loan level reporting. The ILM or medium level exceptions are related to loan matching and/or suspense. The low or L level exceptions may occur on any of the information on the 4 types of records. Eric, would you turn on the annotation tool, please? So here, if we could put a sticker on the critical severity level, please. And while you guys are doing that, the error and critical exceptions should be cleared either on the second or the fourth business day, and the high, medium, and low exceptions should be addressed by the 10th business day. Wonderful. I love all the stickers. That's great. Okay. And Eric, if you could turn off the annotation tool, please. Okay. To access the summary screen in RFS, you would log in to My Jenny May, click on Tools, then click on the PAEF for the Exception Feedback module. The exception feedback screen is displayed. The screen shows a roll-up of all of the pool and loan level information that has been accepted from a file upload or manual entry for the current month. Note that the drop-down box will display the current month's reporting period and 17 months of prior data. You may only update information for the current month. If you are missing current data, this is where you would find a difference in the reported versus the expected loans and pools. On this particular issuer, there are 38 reported loans and 42 expected loans. Therefore, the issuer is missing 4 loans. Also, there are 41 reported pools and 42 expected pools on the bottom half of the screen. Therefore, this issuer is missing 1 pool. Using the annotation tool, would you please indicate on the screen where you can see the number of outstanding exceptions? Wonderful. Yes, that is correct. They are right up there and at the top of the screen. Wonderful. Yes, there are 23 outstanding pool exceptions and 11 outstanding loan exceptions. A quick story. An issuer contacted Ginnie Mae Issuer Support stating that she received a call from the investor concerning delinquent loans. The issuer stated they did not have any delinquent loans. We researched the reported data in RFS and determined that these loans were not delinquent. The issuer reported the current month payment but did not report the correct last installment paid date in RFS. We viewed the RFS summary screen and there were 12 loans delinquent 1 month based on the last installment paid date. This is why you should compare the data that is on the RFS summary screen to your internal servicing system as soon as possible. I will now turn it over to Debbie.
Thank you, Christy. Good morning, everybody. And here's the exception feedback tab, which displays the outstanding exceptions. If you were missing pools or loans, this is where you would see the count of the missing RFS 111 pool exceptions, which is 1, and outstanding 3 missing loan RFS exceptions. If you remember from the RFS summary screen, which was the prior slide, there were 4 loans missing. This exception feedback screen only shows 3 loans missing. The difference in the missing loan count occurs when a pool has not been reported. Once the pool is reported, the RFS exception will generate. Also, this particular issuer has other outstanding exceptions which will need to be worked. There are 2 ways to retrieve your pool and loan level exceptions. Issuers may go to the Exceptions tab from the Exceptions Feedback module in RFS and click on the blue link to view them through the Exception tab, or the issuer may download a CSV file. Downloading the full list of exceptions is recommended. Eric, please turn on the annotation tool, please. Using the annotation tool, can you place a sticker on which of these 2 options you use or will use most frequently to view exceptions? Great, that looks good. You all have this already worked out. Perfect. Okay. To download exceptions into a CSV file, navigate to the Exception Feedback module and click on the Download tab. Then click on the Download Exceptions in the dark blue bar to download a list of all your outstanding exceptions. Click the Download button at the bottom of the screen. Also, if your organization is a subservicer, you may check the Download Subserviced Issuers box on the right side of the page to download all active exceptions for all of the issuers you subservice for. After clicking the Download button at the bottom of the previous slide, the instructions page will display. Follow the instructions by right-clicking on the Download Exception CSV file. If you select the Open a New Window option, that is in the box on the right bottom corner of the screen. The CSV file opens and will display all of your outstanding exceptions. Please save this file as Excel. I will now turn it back over to Christy.
Thank you, Debbie. So after clearing any exceptions, you should always save and summarize the pull activity record by clicking the Save and Summarize Pull button at the bottom of the pull screen. If you have reported or updated a loan record, the calculated pull security RPB may change and create new exceptions after, may create new exceptions after the nightly bulk summarization. Another quick story. On the third business day, if an issuer liquidates a loan and does not save and sum the pull, then the morning of the fourth business day, that issuer will have multiple critical alerts on the pull record. Then the issuer will need to clear those critical exceptions prior to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. So Eric, would you please post our first polling question? Okay. So our first question is, how are the summarization alerts identified in Appendix 619 for the report of pull and loan data? So if we could get everyone to vote, that would be great. So we have our options that the exception message is printed in bold text, in italicized text, in a different color, or they're not identified in 619. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. Eric, if you could end the poll and broadcast the results, please. Thank you. So the correct answer is B. The exception message is printed in italicized text whenever the summarization, whenever it's a summarization alert in Appendix 619. Okay, if you could post our next question, please, Eric. Okay, and if we could open the poll, please. Thank you. Okay, so what % of data must load for summarization to occur? If I remember correctly, I said this 5 or 6 times in our last section. Okay, we will give it just another couple minutes, or another couple seconds, I'm sorry. And Eric, if you could end the poll and broadcast the results, please. So it looks like 87% chose the correct answer, being the 90% of accepted data. So thank you so much, Eric, for that. Okay, so now we will be taking a 5-minute break. When we reconvene, Nancy will be presenting. Eric, would you start a 5-minute timer, and we will join back at 11:07. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started on the next section. This is Nancy Strickland, and I want to say that all 3 multifamily account executives have joined this training. Thanks, everyone. For this module, we will describe the methods used to submit data, requirements to report data, and how to report corrections and confirm that your file was successfully uploaded. Christy touched base on this a little earlier in the presentation. Issuers can submit data online through the RFS activity screen. They can also use the file upload function within RFS, and the third option is to use Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP. Please put a sticker on the option that you use to enter your data into RFS. The SFTP option is a secure channel which the issuer would need to coordinate with Ginnie Mae and BNY Mellon to obtain any of the required forms. The preferred method of reporting is either using the file upload or the SFTP option. Thank you. If you could clear the stickers, please. RFS does not distinguish between an original file or a correction file. All files use the same format. The only difference is we ask that you number your file as 01, 02, 03 in the naming convention. Once a file is received and processed, the data is incorporated into the previous data in RFS. Data cannot be reversed or backed out after the file has been accepted. RFS provides information feedback on your file submission. You receive a functional acknowledgement with an A for accept or an R for reject. There are 2 different access points to acquire the information: e-notification and exception feedback download. Please put a sticker on the option that you use to review if your file was successfully uploaded, which I hope you do view to ensure it loaded. Files can reject due to many different situations. The most common is the length of record or incorrect file name. Please do not assume your file uploaded or will upload. Please verify by using either of these 2 methods. So it looks like it's really split between if you go into e-notification or that you use the PA exception feedback download to look at your status of your file. Either method is good to use, just as long as you do it. Thank you. If you can clear the stickers, please. To view the functional acknowledgement in RFS, you may access the pool accounting exception feedback screen. You select the download tab, and the screen shows several download options. The screen also displays file information, the receipt date, the pool and loan count, and accept reject status. This issuer has submitted 3 files, 2 rejected and 1 accepted. To view the reason the file rejected, you can place your cursor on the file name you want to review at the far left side of the screen and click. This slide shows the full functional acknowledgement screen. The far right of the screen shows this file was accepted and includes the number of records in each file type. The number of pool records is 41, and there are also 41 loan records. There were no files for sensitive or various record. Let's look at the reject record. This slide shows that a file rejected. It includes the reason it rejected was the file name format is incorrect. It still includes the number of records, which was 41 pools, 41 loans. Should a file reject, please correct the reason for the reject and resubmit the file. The information on the top of this slide is from e-notification. A few slides back, we saw that the issuer had submitted 3 files. E-notification is also showing 3 functional acknowledgments, 1 for each file. If you open each FA in the order received, it shows the issuer has 2 files that rejected and 1 that accepted. The FA in eNote does not display the reason the file rejected. You would need to review the RFS download screen and open the file and read the reject message. The 1 file that was accepted created the PA exception feedback message. I think I mentioned on Monday that if your file rejected, you would not get an exception feedback message or notice in e-notification. To access the pool and loan screens, you will need to select the PA Multifamily button under the Tools menu. This opens to a screen where you have several options. You can see the pool record, the loan record, quarterly verification, prepayment penalty, and each module also has a user guide. So let's look at the pool record. When you view the pool screen, there are several links to additional data. All of the links have a red box for this presentation only. Near the top of the screen, you can view the RFS 11710A once you have reported your pool data. If you scroll down the screen and look at the bottom left side, there are links to the custodial bank information and to the pool transfer history. At the bottom of the screen is one of the most important items on the screen, the Save and Summarize Pool button. Please remember to select Save and Sum after manually entering or correcting data on the pool record, and also save when you enter a loan or make any correction to the loan record. Please raise your hand if you notice that on the bottom left-hand side On the bottom left-hand side, there were the plus buttons for the custodial bank information and for the pool transfer history. We do receive a lot of calls from issuers saying they do not know exactly where to find the custodial bank information, or where to enter it or make corrections, because it's a button. A lot of issuers are not familiar with that, since especially if they enter all their data with a pool record. Okay. When you select the custodial bank, the screen displays the information reported on the pool record. You have your bank account and your ABA numbers. The ABA field is also used when we do CAVs, the custodial account verification process. If you select the pool transfer history, the screen displays the date the pool was issued, which has been very helpful to a lot of issuers, and also if there was any pool transfer history. We've definitely received a lot of positive feedback from issuers saying that the pool transfer history has helped them tremendously when they have researched pool issues. Excuse me. So let's look at the data that you'll see when you select the 11710A link. The data on the A is from the issuer reported pool and loan records, along with RFS, calculated values, and information reported at origination. Issuers are required to generate and maintain an 11710A each month, whether they manually create these or their system generates them. These are usually asked, the issuers are usually asked to provide these during an audit. The RFS 11710A is not considered a substitute for either the system generated form or manually generated forms. For this screen, we've split it into two different slides. So the first slide, section 1, is the loan information. It's collections, prepaids, delinquent amounts. Reported loan data from the loan record rolls to section 1. Delinquency information is calculated from the last installment date reported at loan level. And Christy talked about that a little bit earlier when she said an issuer had not reported the correct LPI dates. It would show on the 11710A as the loan was delinquent if you did that. Delinquent, if you've ever had a discrepancy between your in-house data and the RFS summary, you can download all of the 11710As and review each pool in an Excel file. Each field on the 11710A will show as a column in Excel. Section 2 is a combination of reported loan data, calculated data from the pool record, and origination data. Additional principal, liquidations, and other adjustments roll from the reported loan information. Section 3 includes the reported security balance as reported on the pool record, and Section 4 shows calculated guarantee fee, and Section 5 is your bank account information. At the very bottom of the screen, we're showing it in the red box, there is a link to return to the pool record. This enhancement has received a lot of positive feedback from issuers and also from us. For the newer issuers, we used to have to go back to the pool record and re-enter the pool number again to get back to the pool screen. So this link back to the pool record has saved a lot of time for a lot of issuers and also for us. So let's look at the loan record. The top half of the screen is the information from the for when the pool was originated. loan OPB, and the amount securitized, interest rate, FIC, and term. All came from the 11706. Also the name of the project and the address. The bottom half of the screen shows loan activity, the current month collections, LPI, and ending balance of the loan. At the very bottom of the screen is the Save button. Anytime you change or update the loan record, please remember to go back to the pool record and save in some of the pool record. That will have any changes from the loan record feedback to the pool record. So any unscheduled principal reported on the loan record would move to the pool record. At the bottom left of the screen is the link to the various loan data, which Steve went over earlier. These are the 4 fields from the various data that we reviewed earlier. If you have reported various data, you can review the data by selecting this link. Okay, I'm turning this back over to Christy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. To liquidate a loan in RFS, you would navigate to the loan screen, click on the Liquidate Loan in the dark blue bar. Then you would input the last installment date, select one of the 6 removal reasons from the drop-down box, and enter the actual removal date on the left side of the screen. Then you would enter the liquidation interest and the liquidation principal on the right side of the screen. After you've entered the liquidation principal, the liquidation balance should autofill as RFS has taken the opening UPB and subtracting the liquidation principal. You do want to ensure that you click the Save button at the bottom of the Liquidate Loan screen. Then navigate to the Pool screen and click the Save and Summarize Pool button. By saving and summing the pool, RFS moves the liquidation in full FIC and the liquidation balance over to the liquidation fields on the pool screen, which means that the issuer will be passing through the liquidation funds through to the security holders. This also lowers the RPB of the pool for the current reporting month. Using the thumbs up or thumbs down, would you give me a thumbs up if there are 6 valid removal reasons that Ginnie Mae uses? And give me a thumbs down if there are not 6 valid reasons, removal reasons that Ginnie Mae uses. Okay, I'm seeing lots of green thumbs. That is wonderful. And yes, that is correct. At the moment, Ginnie Mae does have 6 valid removal liquidation reasons. Eric, if you would clear the thumbs, please. You may wonder how the liquidation interest and principal are calculated for inputting on the Liquidate Loan screen. Here's a sample liquidation amortization schedule. As all Ginnie Mae MBS loans are schedule, meaning the issuer must pass through scheduled interest and scheduled principal whether you collect the payment or not. All liquidated loans are amortized 1 month greater than the current reporting period. This reduces the liquidation principal balance by the scheduled principal, which is included in the pool record. The total interest due and the total principal remitted numbers are at the bottom of this liquidated record, is needed for the Liquidate Loan screen in RFS. Most servicing systems will complete a similar report like the one displayed. I will now turn it over to Debbie.
Thank you. If you would, raise your hand if you've ever used the pull list function in RFS. Good, I'm seeing lots of hands. Great. Okay. Eric, if you would please clear the hands. Issuers are able to view each pool number, the pool type, the pool status, and the loan count. You can access the list when in the pool record by selecting Pool List. Please enter your lowest numeric pool number so the complete list will show. If you only gave alphanumeric pool numbers, enter the lowest starting with A. You can then select or click on Pool Status to view the pool record. To view the loan record, click on the pool number. You can view the loan list when in the loan record by selecting Loan List. You'll need to enter the pool number to retrieve the loan numbers. You can select click on ULID to view the loan record. This screen shows an active multifamily pool loan list. I picked a pool that had 5 loans to show you a good example of a loan list. Click the unique loan ID to view the record. The pool activity screen contains fields the issuers report pool record. These are fields that are moved or rolled to the pool record from reported loan activity and system calculated fields. The fields or sections in the red box are reported by the issuer. This also includes the RPB adjustment. Always remember to report the T&I and P&I and replacement reserve funds you are holding. If funds for the loan payment were collected from the borrower, you should be reporting a service fee. As always, save and summarize the reported data. The loan screen captures individual loan activity. This screen reports collections, reversals, or adjustments. Christy mentioned earlier the reported LPI date determines if the loan will calculate as delinquent. The calculation is not determined on the ending loan balance. We have the red box around the various link and also the Save button. Please remember to save your data. I will now turn it over to Nancy.
Thanks, Debbie. We mentioned several times to ensure that you save all your loan records after any changes and saving some of the pool records after any pool and loan changes or corrections have been made. We had a multifamily issuer that made several changes, several hundred changes on their data, and they never went and saved or summed any of that data. It was the 3rd business day, so they were very lucky. They were able to re-enter and save all the data prior to the 4th business day deadline. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we integrated or merged the save and sum function, so it made it a lot easier. Issuers didn't have that separate button, so every pool is now summarized once you hit that save and sum button. So that was been very, very good for all the issuers. So I've mentioned enhancements several times. Additional enhancements are all showing on the download screen. All liquidations for 1 month or more can be pulled by the issuer. The RFS summary and summary screen has a download screen, and the 11.710As. There's also a download function for subservicers for any exceptions they have for their issuers. You also have they have the ability to download one file for each issuer, or they can include all their issuers they subservice into one file. Pool transfers was identified as one of the hot topics. You can review your bank account data, ABA account numbers, after a pool transfer to ensure accuracy by downloading the 11710As. A lot of times when CABS is due, the data from the pool records are loaded into RFS and moved to CABS, and then the issuer will see a bank account there like, I don't have this bank account. But it doesn't really show which pools those are. This is one of the areas where you can download the 11710As and go to the custodial bank information and find out which pools that you have a different bank account entered. If you have used any of these downloads, please place a sticker on the function that you have used. You can it can be 1, 2, 3, or all 4 options. Well, I'm very excited to see that people are using the new enhancements. And we're always open to any information or requests for enhancements. We don't always get them in. It depends. They will go onto a list of items. But if you do have anything that you think could help you or any other of the issuers, please let your issuer support analyst know. All right, I'm turning it back over to Christy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. We will now review some examples of reporting pool and loan data. If you have a non-amortizing PN pool, this slide shows how to report the first month in RFS. The opening FIC needs to be 0. The adjustment to FIC needs to be the loan level FIC and entered as a positive number, and the closing FIC should be that same number. The scheduled principal and total principal should be 0. The closing security RPB should equal the opening security RPB. You may ask, how do I determine when I have a loan that does not amortize until 2 or more months after the pool is issued? The answer is to review the first payment date of the principal and interest on the mortgage note, as it would be greater than 2 months of the pool issue date. The first payment date should agree to the first payment date reported on the 11706 in LMF PDM. For CL or CSs, construction loan draws are entered on the Edit Construction screen in the principal draw field as a positive whole number, meaning you do not enter cents in the principal draw field. To find the draw amount, you would review e-notification for the daily transfer sheet formatted draw notification. Also, there may be someone from your secondary marketing or capital markets team that would provide you with this draw information. After inputting the construction draw amount on the loan, you would navigate over to the pool screen. Save and summarize the pool to ensure the draw amount carries over correctly. Liquidations are reported on the loan and pool records. Here is an edit project loan that has been liquidated. In the upper left-hand corner, the liquidated loan appears in red. On the pool record, the liquidation in full FIC and the liquidation balance carries over to the loan record when the pool is saved and summed. The red boxes show these two fields. Interest rate reductions, also known as IRRs, should have a Code 6 other as the liquidation reason. In order to process a Code 6 others, issuers must receive written permission from Ginnie Mae prior to removal. You may ask, are IRRs like modifications? And the answer would be yes, they are exactly like modifications. So Eric, would you please post our first polling question? Thank you. So the question is, when do you summarize a loan record? So we would like everyone to vote if possible. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. So to read the question again is, when do you summarize a loan record? Maybe we should think back to all the times that Debbie and Nancy and I were talking about that pool saving some button. Okay, Eric, if you could go ahead and end the poll and broadcast the results, please. So the correct answer to this question is actually C. This is a trick question. So the question is, when do you say, or when do you summarize a loan record? A loan record you actually just save. It's a pool record that you save and summarize. Okay, Eric, if you could post the next question, please. So which screen can you use to locate your bank account number? And Nancy went over this just a few minutes ago.
And Nick, we'll get to your question in just a few minutes.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yes. Okay, we'll give a few more seconds here for this question. And Eric, if you could end the poll and broadcast the results, please. Thank you. So the correct answer here is the poll activity screen. So it looks like 55% of the voting participants got that correctly. That is where you can locate the bank account information under one of the little pluses down at the bottom for the custodial account information. Okay. And Eric, if you could post our last question for this one, please. So which records are required each month? So this is something that Steve and I went over earlier when we were talking about the 4 different types of records. We will give it just a few more seconds. So Eric, if you could end the poll and broadcast the results, please. So the correct answer is C, the pull and loan records. So the pull and loan records are required each month, and the sensitive and various, those are only required when there is a change. So Eric, if you could go ahead and remove the polling question. So it looks like Nick has a question here. Is the opening FIC pre-populated, or is it part of the upload data? So the opening FIC, and Nancy, please correct me if I'm wrong, the opening FIC for a new pool comes over from MFPDM for that month, and if it's already a pre-existing pool, the opening FIC is carried over from the prior month's closing FIC.
It's also reported on the pool record and also on the loan record. So if an issuer is entering data manually, they would not have to report the field originally. It's already there. If they're reporting records, pull and loan records through RFS and file upload, that's a required field, and so they would report that data. If you're reporting a different amount than what you had last month, you may be receiving these exceptions. If you're not sure why you're receiving them, as soon as your file is uploaded, before you touch anything in RFS, call your analyst and have them look at it with you, and they can explain why you're receiving those exceptions. Pull your exception feedback report before you do that also. Okay?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nancy. Okay, so before we move into our group activity, I would like to ask if any of the multifamily account executives have anything to add, or you are welcome to unmute yourself or type in the chat box.
Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle.
Good morning, Michelle. We can barely hear you.
Okay, that's probably just me. Okay, how is it now? I do not have anything to add. You guys have done a great job. But if there is any specific question, policy clarification that is needed, everyone is welcome to either put it in the chat or send an email to either myself, Jennifer, or Patrick.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Christy.
Okay, so we will, okay. So it looks like we've got many times RFS requires us to enter the TIN number when we open a loan record. Yes, at the moment the TIN or the SSN number field is required if you are making a change on the loan record. That is something that we are working with multifamily to see what we can do about updating that.
And I think that only happens when you're manually changing data in RFS. It does not happen when you report a loan record through file upload. Right, Christy?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Okay, so now we will move on to our group activity. Okay, so in today's group activity, we are going to analyze the exception feedback download file. So when you are working your exception feedback, Appendix 619 defines the exception feedback severity level, the exception code, and the exception message. All of our Ginnie Mae issuer support team keeps a printed hard copy of the Appendix 619 on our desk to assist us whenever issuers call, ask questions. So, you know, I know mine and Nancy's are pretty worn, and I mean, you know that because we use it a lot every month, right, Nancy?
I don't anymore since I'm on special projects, thank God.
Well, you used
Yes,
to.
and I still have mine, and it is tattered and worn.
It really.
I know it's a large, yeah, it's a large document. A lot of people don't want to print it, or if they're working from home, they really don't, you know, have the means to print it. But it would be nice to have a link to it where when you call us and we ask you to look at the appendix, that you have it available.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in my hard copy, I have highlighted and handwritten notes. It's just it's an awesome document. So, okay, so this is intended to be a group discussion. So the more people that participate, the better the discussion will be. So please feel free to unmute yourself and speak, or you are welcome to type in the chat box. So here we have row 1 displays the column headings. So whenever you download this into Excel, you do have the ability to sort it, you know, based on your specific needs. You know, the original list is saved or sorted by severity code. Both the code and the field name identifies whether it is a pull or loan exception. So in this example, it was downloaded on the first business day and only one file had been submitted. So my first question would be, which alerts would you address first? So we welcome anyone to unmute and speak up, or looks like Nick is typing, and Nick and Donna are typing in the chat box. Okay, there we go, right? The E's, the critical ones, the severity level, that's great. So did anyone notice that there's an RFS 111? So if we have an RFS 111 and this is, you know, if your cutoff is the end of the month or the first business day, would you want to clear the RFS 111 and possibly the RFS 204 first? Looks like there's a couple RFS 204s on here. Yes. Wonderful. Yes, that is exactly what I would do. Is what I would want to make sure that all of my data gets reported first. You know, since the first deadline of the month is 7 p.m. On the second business day, you know, to have all of your pull and loan data reported, since that is the first deadline. And then second, you would possibly want to work your error and criticals, since the deadline for clearing those is the fourth business day at 7 p.m. And then work your high, medium, and lows, since the deadline is the 10th business day at 7 p.m. So then my next question, so we're going to combine question 2 and 3, is how would you clear your critical alerts, and what steps are involved in addressing each alert? So is everyone being shy today and no one wants to unmute and speak today?
Since I've been popular, I'll speak up. Generally, we will start with the loan level and basically work each pool as we go, because usually the loan level, once we clear the loan level, well, if we save in some, often the pool level will be cleared, but then if it's not, then we'll continue on to review the pool levels as we're kind of working our way down the list of severity.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nick. That's awesome. Okay, and then correct the loan level exceptions and save, and then go to the pool and save and sum, then review. Yes, that is excellent. Absolutely excellent. Okay, well, I do know that we are getting pretty close to time, so we are going to move on to our questions. So if anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Also, we do have our email addresses provided here on the screen, so you are welcome to email us. And also, I believe that Yolanda put in the chat earlier, you may also send questions to the askjennymay@hud.gov email box.
And please don't leave. We have some questions at the end of this session for you to answer.
Yes.